Good morning. Welcome back. We're working on a combine today. We should get a lot of cleaning done and towards the wrapping up side of that. That's the goal here. So Brock should be here in a little bit, and we need to power wash on the corn head today. We need to power wash shields today. Those are the two big things that we got to get done. Probably going to spend some time in here with a hose, just getting a few spots that we've found or missed or whatever. But from there, it's start putting, the sieves and stuff back in the machine and getting things put back together. So we've got time. I'm not in a big hurry to get this out of here, but I do want to keep stuff moving. The goal is always get the combine out of the shop before Christmas. So maybe by the end of next week we'll be done with it, and that would be awesome. Dad brought the backhoe and Brock's here. We're getting our piles of crap cleaned up on the concrete there. While it's still sort of chilly out this morning, we're going to change air filters and stuff, do the maintenance work to the combine. This big yellow book tells you what to do, when to do it. Read it. All right, well, the first early stuff is a lot of grease zerks, 50-hour grease zerks, checking some stuff, cleaning little things out. We've done all the cleaning, stone trap, empty the stone trap. So that stuff kind of we're going to let go. And we will grease this, but we'll grease it when we're done. We're not done yet. So I'm not going to worry about that yet. When we get to the 400 hours, we finally get to some of the stuff that we're actually going to do. We're not going to change engine oil right now. Like I said, the dealer's going to run an oil scan on it, do some analysis and stuff because we've been burning some oil, and I'm going to let them take care of that. But fuel filters. So we need to change the primary and secondary fuel filters. So here's that. Brock's is making a list, I guess. But we got a pile of filters and stuff over there. That's grease. Loading order upper gear case. Pump bearing, grease zerks, on slip clutches, discharge beater, yeah, lots of that kind of stuff. Separator drive oil, we need to check that. That's on the back of the rotor, kind of up behind the engine, or in front of the engine there, I guess. Final drive oil, we should check that. Those are a real pain to get to. I'll just keep going through here and figure out what we got to do. All right, well, we're going to start with engine air filters. That one's a little dirty. It's not horrible, but it is dirty, and we're just going to replace it. So one thing we always like to do is write the hours and the date on filters when we change them. I would be pretty confident we did that last year. You just can't see it because it's dirty. That right there. 12/28 of 21. Oh, look at that. We're already 3 weeks ahead, Brock. 202 hours. And we are now 12/9 of 22, and we are at 535. So 535 minus 202 means we put 333 hours on the combine this year. So Brock's going to do those engine air filters. There is another big set of air filters on here. They call this the engine debris management air filters. Boy, there's a bunch of dirt up there. I have to get that. I'll explain what these do in a second, but we're going to take it apart and see what it looks like. Yeah, it looks like we're probably going to change that. There is actually an indicator on the readout and the display in the cab to tell you if this filter is getting plugged or not. It never said that it was, but my goodness, it better be. Look at that. Or I mean, it is. Clearly. So what that air filter does, it's drawing air from this pipe here that winds its way up under the grain tank and back up to the same intake that the engine is drawing air from. But then it comes through this filter, through the blower there, supercharger, and it goes and it pressurizes this big green cabinet back here. You can see this tube going into there, and so that cabinet is our exhaust emissions BS stuff. It's the SCR catalyst chamber. It's the diesel particulate filter is in there, I think. I don't know exactly, but you can see the exhaust coming in through that. Well, those components in there get extremely hot. And so the worst case scenario is you have extremely hot exhaust components and dust from harvesting a crop that would catch fire. And so their solution to prevent that is to put an air filter in and pressurize a cabinet around that to kind of isolate the hot components from the dust and everything else. And so by pressurizing that and blowing air into it, it keeps the dust out because you're pulling it through an air filter. So the exhaust comes out the center of our exhaust pipe there. The air from that chamber comes out around it, I believe. And that keeps it clean. And I've never had a fire, so I would say it works. But that's just one person's story. I don't know if other people have had fires or not. All right, so we were getting to fuel filters, and we ran into a bit of a snag. So there are 2 fuel filters on most of our equipment, most everything, and on all the newer stuff, they come as 2 separate filters or 2 separate boxes and part numbers. This is the secondary fuel filter. There is a primary fuel filter that goes with it as well. It is the same primary fuel filter that is on the 9R and the 8R and the 8RX. I don't have any of them. Like, we keep a really good parts or filter inventory. I always order filters in February for the following year. So after we've gone through and changed everything throughout the winter here, I restock the shelves so that they're on the shelf for us for if we need one in season or when we get to doing it in the shop here the next year. So why don't I have it? I mean, we have 4 of these that we're supposed to have, and I didn't have any. So I called up to the Deere dealer, and last winter when we ordered filters, there was some tremendous supply issues. Remember that? That's why I'm glad that I had all of the ones that I needed a year ago on the shelf from the previous year. But anyway, this particular filter was one of the ones that was back ordered. They couldn't get it. And so I ordered it, and the filters kind of kept trickling in throughout the next month or 2 or 3. Well, turns out these ones never made it down here. They have them. They're at the dealer. The inventory issue has been fulfilled for now. They just never made it to me, and so we don't have them. So we're going to hold off on fuel filters right now. Should get them Monday at the latest, and we'll go from there. All right. So those are our fuel filters we're going to wait on. There is a oil filter in that canister right there that we need to try and get off. So I think it's a 21. Nope. Bigger. Must be 24 millimeters. Anyway, we got to get that off of there. Combine filter changing is going to have to wait for a minute. We're going to need this. What else do we need, Brock? We need this. Dad just called me. He got stuck with a backhoe. Now, I asked him if I could bring the 7520, and he said, nah, I better bring the 8R. Okay. Okay. He's over there. How do I get to him? Doesn't look that wet. Shouldn't be that bad. I don't drive the big tractors through the woods very often. You got to be trying to get a backhoe stuck, man. We should be fine here. Oh yeah, he's got her buried in there pretty good. Found a soft spot. Stump hole or something. He had dug a bunch of trees out here this summer.
I don't know, as Nathan was saying, he does have her stuck down there pretty well. What happened, Mark?
I hit an old stump hole where I dug the trees out.
Oh boy. Now he's got it buried pretty good down there. We'll see. It should just pop right out of there. Got enough power on this side of the equation, so we'll see. Yeah, there it goes. But definitely had her buried, and it's a little slick on top still. But no problem here. We're done.
We should be fine here. This 8R with the IVT is nice for pulling because you can go nice and slow and steady. There we go. He's bringing all that stuff he scooped up out of the shop and some boards and sawdust stuff that he cleaned up out of his wood shop there. I think he was trying, he's got a brush pile over there. I think he was trying to dump that stuff on, but can't get to it. Driest fall we've had ever. Still got stuck. Technically it's not winter yet. Either way, it's rained since we've been done with harvest, so things are a little softer now. Well, that was exciting for the 9th of December. Anyway, back to our filters. Alright, there's our hydrostatic charge filter and the oil that we got out of it. Hydraulic oil from the factory, in John Deere machines at least, is red. And it is red so that they can detect leaks easier. I think it's actually fluorescent, maybe, if you have a fluorescent light or a black light, I don't know. There's another hydraulic oil filter right there Brock is getting, full of red hydraulic oil. We have a couple of cab air filters. This one here is the recirculating filter, which looks dirty. The cover is dirty. We gotta clean that up. But the filter sits up in here, and it's filthy. That pulls the dirty air out of cab. Comparison. We'll put our new one up there, and we'll clean the cover off before we stick it back up in there. Alright, there's that one. And then there's one outside here, and we're going to shut the door first. And I'll put these down here. Up here, this is the cab fresh air filter, and it is the worst filter on the whole machine. I'm just going to take that whole thing down. This is the clean side of the filter. And I cleaned this out during harvest too. The amount of bean dust piled in the bottom there. Whew. At least it keeps it out of my combine, right? The cab. It does what it's supposed to do, but my goodness, there's a lot of crap in that one. Dump this right in the trash. Yeah. Alright, Brock's getting those two filters put back in for me. And that should be all the filters that we need to do, with the exception of the fuel filters, but I don't want to do one at a time. I want to do them both at the same time, so we're going to wait until we get those on Monday to change that. These can go back upstairs. We have an extra one of these. This is the one that was down right here, hydraulic filter. So we'll use that one up next year. Don't need to buy one this year. This is a hydraulic oil filter that goes in the actual reservoir, return filter or something. That one's like a $1,500 change, or maybe 1,000 hours. I don't know, but doesn't need done this year. This is just a strainer, pre-cleaner for the fuel, not dirty. These are vents for fuel and DEF tanks. You don't change those every year either. And the cab air filter that we just changed there, they come in a 2-pack. We only need one, so there you go. Brock's getting the oil checked in our rotor gearbox, 2-speed rotor gearbox there. It's good, so put that back together. What's next? There's a gearbox in there that we need to check the oil level on, so we're going to open up the grain tank extensions. I just wanted to watch and make sure we were going to hit that. I think we're good. Yeah, Yeah, plenty of room. And we need to check the one on the gearbox on the head there, the reverser, and the head has to be up to do that. So I raised the head up. All right, well, we needed to check that little black dipstick somewhere down there. And decided to fold this auger down while we're in here. Got a little bit of stuff we cleaned out. You can see some wear on this weld that they put on the flighting. That's just there to extend the wear life and stuff on it. It'll be fine. And then over here is that clean grain paddle chain that I was telling you about. That is what brings the clean grain up to the grain tank here, and it kind of flings it over the top into this area. And right there is the paddle. That is the mass flow sensor. So that grain hits that, and that's an impact plate, and that senses how much grain hits it, and then that's what records the yield. That's the yield monitor data collector, I guess. And then this auger augers it up and to the center of the grain tank and fills it, and yeah, that's how that system works. So there is a belt under this cover that drives all of that stuff. So, yeah. Okay, it's 11 o'clock. We've got the gearbox oils all checked. We've got the filters all changed. We're going to start power washing. So I'm going to take the head out and set it on the concrete. Brock's going to power wash it this morning. Hopefully we'll get it done before lunchtime, and then we're going to go to lunch. And when we come back, we're going to drag shields out and try and wash all the shields. So I'm going to just set the head down right now. I don't want to do it with the combine on, because it's going to blow dirt all over the combine. And, well, the combine's not clean, but it's relatively clean, so yeah. So we've got those stalk stompers on there, so I can't just set the head down. So Brock's got a couple of big blocks. We're going to try and set those pads down on these blocks. Should work. We'll be a little cautious here as we set this down. I need to adjust my angle. This combine has this feeder house that tilts. So it makes it a little tricky. And those stock stompers, I can't just drop it as low as I want because I'll hit the stompers. Okay. That should work. Oh yeah, beautiful.
Here we are. Nathan's got the corn head off the combine, and we're gonna work on it for about an hour. I bet we'll get a lot of it done, most of it done, and see where we get. But I'll set up a little time lapse here for you and go from there. But yep, hopefully get it done today, or we will get it done today.
See how Brock's doing out here. The back of the head's cleaner. It's windy out here. That's no fun. How we doing? Okay. Good deal. All right, we were back from lunch. I hauled some trash out because Dad was back with a backhoe and I needed to use it. Brock's bringing shields up, it appears. Yep. So we need to move the corn head out of the way. We need to clean the concrete off, and then we can start laying them out. Somebody power wash, somebody carrying them out of the way, back in here, something. Do that. Brock said he wanted to carry, so I get to wash. That's Well, you didn't see it because it's too hard for me to film and power wash at the same time. but we got a pile of clean shields. That stuff's all good. I got the bottom side of the corn head cleaned up a little bit, just a little on the combine, not much. And we got the concrete clean. And I'm done. It's not warm out. It did not get warm today. All right, well, we got done. We got that everything moved in, cleaned up. Brock cleaned off the bench for me a little bit. Went home. It's Friday. I'm going home early. It's next Friday, a week from today, is Ryland's birthday, my oldest. He will be 6. The weekend, next weekend, we have some stuff going on, so we're having his party tomorrow. So we got to go home and get ready for that. Also, we were power washing outside today. It is now snowing. Lovely. Oh, well, at least we got most of that done. So have a great weekend, everybody. And if you have any questions, comments, send them down below. Hit that like and subscribe button. And we'll see you on Monday, I think. That's my plan. Well, I didn't do too bad for a farmer. Happy birthday, bud.